Whoever sees this and subscribes right now will get a free Twinkie. Happy Murica Day. What's going on, YouTube? It's Knox Hill, and we're back kind of with our reaction series. Guys, as you know, I like to stop sometimes and catch up with you all and just talk. And I feel like today, on America's birthday, then what better time to, take a moment and reflect and just talk with you guys. So first and foremost, happy Murica Day to those of you proud fellow Americans. Listen, guys, I've been very blessed in my life to have had the opportunity to have lived in other countries, to have traveled, to have played soccer, both professionally and semi-professionally in other countries. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, man. And I've gotten to appreciate the way other people think. I've gotten to see other cultures and lifestyles. But it's funny because it seems like throughout the years, the more that I've traveled and have spent abroad, the more that I appreciate what I have back home. The more I appreciate my family, the more I appreciate the lessons that I was taught in PG, growing up as a kid, everything that was instilled upon me. And the more I just, the more I feel proud to be an American. And that's not always the popular opinion, that's for sure. Especially while Trump was president, we were getting a lot of hate traveling as Americans, and we always will throughout the years. But it's funny, it seems like the more that people give me critique, that give me a hard time, then the more I rally, the more that I stand and raise a fist and stand strong and stand proud for for the nation that was built, for what our forefathers achieved, for the sacrifices that all of our soldiers and veterans have made. I mean, I had a grandfather who died in combat, and I just couldn't be more proud, really, on a day like this. And speaking on controversy and competition, I just wanted to point out some things that I see happening a lot in our society today. And one of those things, especially me, just being someone who grew up playing sports, someone who's always, tried to take care of my body, who's enjoyed competition, is winning and losing. Just feels like the value of that is getting taken away so much. And nowadays, especially with our youth and especially with kids, as I have two twin daughters that are growing up and getting older and starting to get involved in activities, I mean, now it's like participation trophies. Let's just reward people for just being and just doing, instead of letting them win and achieve something, instead of letting them lose and feel heartbreak. And I feel like we're just, as a society, we don't want to offend anyone anymore. We don't want to cause anyone stress. We don't want to cause anyone any type of conflict or controversy, whether that's on socials, whether that's you have to be careful with everything that you say because somebody's going to get triggered, whether that's through your actions or just through life. And I feel like it's reflected in sports now. It's reflected in so many avenues. And I've always loved competition. And competition is one of the reasons why America became what it did and why we have become so powerful globally and why we have so much influence in the world. I mean, competition is not a bad thing. Competition is how you grow. Competition is how you stay sharp. It's how you evolve. And I've learned so many more lessons through my failures than I have through my successes. Successes are easy to accept. Successes are easy when you're on top, to celebrate and to appreciate what you've done. What's hard is getting punched in the mouth. What's hard is when failure hits you, when failure knocks you down. And those defining moments are, what do you learn from failure? And finding that strength of character and finding that inner will to get up when you have been knocked down, to keep going, to try again. That's all stuff that you learn through failure. And if you try to just shelter kids, and if you try to shelter people from that conflict and controversy sometimes, then we never develop well-rounded individuals. We never get to round out our character. We never develop the emotional intelligence to deal with situations, because let's be honest, guys, life sucks. I've said this before. Life is tough. And you could be on cloud nine and you could have everything going right, and just like that, something happens and it just changes your entire life, and it's completely out of your control a lot of times. And it happens to each and every one of us, which is why I always say, be careful with, which is why I always say, be mindful of others, because you don't know what's going on in other people's heads. You don't know their life story. You don't know what they've been through. And honestly, someone could be down one day and that could be you the next day, even when you're up and you think that everything's going great, because that's just how life is. Life isn't all it's not all Twinkies and parties and good times. There's a lot of bad that comes with it. And the only way to try to be prepared for that bad, the only way to truly deal with it is to go through it. You have to go through the darkness. You have to go through the negative moments, because that's where we learn things from. And I've had my controversies here on YouTube. I've had conflicts here on YouTube. And listen, I'm a rapper at the end of the day. And rap is a competitive sport. And I see it sometimes, if I bump heads with another artist and people are like, oh, you're just causing drama, or they're so quick to jump on sides. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with competition. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of drama sometimes, because that is how we stay sharp. And at the end of the day, as rappers and as artists, we're trying to evolve and we're trying to be the best. And not everybody makes it. There's only so many spots at the top, and not everybody's going to get there, unfortunately. And I feel like a lot of times, even in rap, when I was coming up, when I was doing battles, I learned so much more through my losses than I did through my successes. I mean, the biggest loss that I faced when I first was tricked into doing a rap battle, and I just embarrassed myself. I mean, I couldn't even go to school the next day. I couldn't show my face anywhere. But as a result of that, I never wanted that to happen again. I never wanted to be placed in that position and in that moment in time. So I worked and I worked and I worked, and I honed my craft to try to be the best and to try to make sure that I was never going to experience a failure like that again. And that's kind of the point of what I'm getting to. And those of you parents out there, and those of you dealing with kids, you can't protect children. You can't protect them from the world. You can only do your best to guide them, to teach them lessons, to give them a strong foundation. But life is going to hit them at some point. And sometimes life hits us sooner than others, but life hits us all. And we have to be open to that. We have to be open to the negative as much as we are open to the positive. And I do worry. I do worry that we feel like we have to shield everything. We have to protect opinions nowadays, and we just don't want to offend any person or group, and that takes away from us expressing ourselves. And sometimes if people get offended, maybe they need to self-reflect. Maybe the reason why they're offended is because they have their own insecurities that they haven't dealt with yet. And criticism can be hard to take. I mean, nobody takes criticism well, but sometimes we need to hear criticism. Instead of just being someone's, positive reinforcement, instead of just being a yes man, sometimes you have to have hard truths with people. And sometimes you do have to criticize in order to help them, discover the flaws and help them deal with their own insecurities of their own characters. So what am I getting at here? I guess what I'm saying is that, not all conflict is bad. Not all competition is a bad thing. It can mold us. It can make us better, and it can make us stronger. Sometimes we all need to be kicked. Sometimes we all need to fall down, because that strength and getting back up and knowing that you can get knocked down and that you can get yourself back up and that you can overcome, there's no greater inner strength to discover, and just inner source of motivation, really. Don't forget, we were a bunch of rebels who really embraced conflict in 1776 when we became our own nation and decided to light our own path and do our own thing. So listen, I hope you guys stay safe this holiday. I hope you don't forget the things that matter most: family, friendship, love, loyalty, those types of values. Don't get too caught up in the material world and in the material things. There's nothing more important than the relationships that we have and the people who have always been there for us. So take care of yourselves, guys. Take care of your minds. Take care of your bodies. And I'll catch you again. I love you.